We are pleased to be joined once again and by Ralph Izzo, Chairman, President, and CEO, PSEG. Good to see you, Ralph.
It's great to see you, Steve. Thanks for having me.
Well, last time we were together in the NJTV studio, had a compelling conversation about energy, the future of energy. We're taping this on the 13th of July. The impact of COVID-19 on the world of energy. Short description?
Sure, it's been significant, right? I mean, so half of our employees are working remotely. The other half, we've had to change all of their work practices in terms of where they get their equipment from, how we organize them. When they're on the job site, do they work with the same crew over and over? When they're maintaining power plants, how many people can be in a closed space at once? So it's had a pronounced effect on all of our operations. It's had a pronounced effect on our customers. Commercial load is down, residential load is up. Payment patterns, sadly, are lagging quite significantly. We're seeing the economic impact on our customers. It has ripple effects on us. I don't know if that was short enough for you, but...
Well, no, it's short and it's compelling and it's important because all of us who rely on your company, sometimes we go, well, hey, what's up? And we need whatever. We need you to fix X. We need you to deal with this. As if you and your colleagues, particularly the folks out in the field, are not facing a whole another set of challenges in addition to the fact they're trying to protect their families.
And you see, and it's so good for you to note that. I mean, obviously both of us, and I'm sure you've done this many times, please allow me just to spend 10 seconds to say thank you to all of the frontline employees who have kept us healthy and have put their own health on the line. And my condolences to any family that's experienced firsthand the ravages of this terrible virus. But if our employees weren't doing what they were doing, then those folks couldn't be providing the services they are. I passed one of our crews the other day that was clearing a circuit from trees, and it was 90 degrees and stifling, and they were out there with their masks on and keeping their distance in this heat. It permeates everything we do, and the challenges are real. But the beauty of it is the precautions we're taking appear to be working. If I look at the infection statewide, we're running at about half that infection rate with our employees. So we're able to keep them safe, and that's a priority for us.
Let me disclose two things. One, PSEG, a major underwriter, supporter of public broadcasting, NJTV News, as well as our production company, the Caucus Educational Corporation. And let me disclose this as well. We had some power lines were down after a tree came down after a storm, and all of your folks were out with protective equipment doing what they need to do, and about 10 neighbors all looking and counting on what they were doing. So just saying thanks.
That's great.
Let's shift gears.
Sure.
PSEG, major announcement. Your foundation arm announced $1 million commitment to fight racial inequity. This whole initiative, the Power, Equity, and Social Justice Initiative, what is it? And why is it incredibly important now more than ever?
Yeah, so we view ourselves as a corporate citizen even more than we view ourselves as an energy provider. And as you were talking about COVID before, we did $2.5 million for COVID-related charitable organizations. We've given away 50,095 masks, 200,000 gloves. And what we've come to realize is that if you're not part of the problem when it comes to diversity and inclusion and systemic racism, then you ought to join and be part of the solution. And candidly, this has been a learning lesson for me, Steve. I've always sort of put the blinders on and said, look, our job is to keep the lights on and gas flowing. And other things that I may have personal feelings about aren't the responsibility of the company. But this has gotten to the point where it is the responsibility of every person who views themselves as a leader. New Jersey is going to be majority minority in terms of its workforce within a coming few years. We are one of the most, if not the most diverse state in the nation. Our employees are diverse. Our suppliers are diverse. They need to know that we're in their corner. And we have looked, our human resources team has looked at all sorts of studies that show not only is there a subset of explicit bias in the communities in which we operate, but there's a fair amount of implicit bias. Studies where you just send the same resume out, but you change the gender of the person on the resume, or you change the ethnicity or the implied race of the name of the person on the resume, and different outcomes result. We just can't have that. We need to have the best out of every one of our resources that are available to us, both in terms of suppliers, in terms of labor pool, and in terms of the people we have at hand. I want everybody to believe that PSEG is a great place to work, where everything that makes up your background and your experience is valued and appreciated and can be brought to the table.
Well, simply put, Ralph, what you're really saying is the bottom line being right isn't enough, not even close.
That's exactly right. The bottom line is more than just dollars and cents. It's the way in which we treat people, whether those people are our customers, our employees, our suppliers, our shareholders, our stakeholders. It's really about people. It's about the greater community that we serve.
Shifting gears again, we're involved in an initiative, I think working with the Clean Energy Program, with the Board of Public Utilities, trying to promote public awareness around quote unquote clean energy. I've asked you this before. What does it mean to you now as we do this program in mid-July 2020? Clean energy, define it, and how is that initiative affected by COVID-19?
Yeah, well, emphatically, yes. So clean energy to me is sort of, I put it in two categories. Number one is the traditional category. We don't want acid rain. We don't want mercury. We don't want soot. We all know that. We've gotten over that for the past few decades. But now it's this heightened level of concern over carbon dioxide, what changes the climate. And if you think about what a terrible job the world has done to coordinate its response to COVID-19, something that is solvable, fixable, avoidable if we coordinated our activities. So we really need to get serious about climate change. My hat's off to the BPU President Joe Fioralicio and Governor Murphy for the things they've been saying and doing. And we have a 5-point plan that says, here's what we need to do to battle climate change. Preserve existing nuclear, invest more heavily in energy efficiency, invest in offshore wind, invest in solar, and electric transportation system. Then the federal government needs to put a price on carbon so that we can measure the relative importance of each of those 5 steps and make sure that we're making the wisest economic decision, not because profits should dominate, but because we want to get the most out of every environmental dollar that we spend.
Well, simply put, before I let you go, Ralph, the concept of clean energy and making real improvements in this regard doesn't stop because of COVID-19.
Oh, no, not at all. As a matter of fact,
we don't have that luxury.
We don't. As a matter of fact, you've seen that there have been some studies that have pointed out that where the environment is a little bit more stressed, the effects of COVID-19 are more pronounced. So the health consequences from the more traditional pollutants are obvious, that have been obvious to us for years, were further illuminated by COVID-19.
Ralph, I look forward to the next conversation we have, and I am hoping and praying it can be in our studio at NJTV, but if not, we'll keep doing this and getting better at it. But we thank you for your time and wish you and all your colleagues, particularly those on the front line who are protecting us, all the best. Thank you so much, Ralph.
Thank you, Steve.
I'm Steve Adubato. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, RWJ Barnabas Health, New Jersey Board of Public Utilities Clean Energy Program, the New Jersey Education Association, the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, the Fidelco Group, Johnson & Johnson, Georgian Court University, and by NJM Insurance Group. Promotional support provided by Insider NJ and by New Jersey Globe.
Hi, I'm Eric. You might see me as an ordinary person, but I've been living with a brain injury for nearly 2 years. One of my struggles is short-term memory loss. At Opportunity Project, I'm given hope and support, and I've gained my comments back through the job placement program. Despite my challenges, I have a reason to keep improving. Today, even though life has changed me, I believe that anything is possible.
If you have a brain injury, you don't have to face your road to recovery alone.